Airport arrivals are often emotional, including a reunion at Pearson Airport last week between a mom and her two teenage sons. The refugee from Burundi got to hug her boys for the first time in almost 10 years. They were separated in the political violence that tore their homeland apart. Mary Wiens was there as Ashura waited for the Ethiopian Airways flight to arrive with her sons.
I am Ashura. I'm just here for waiting for my kids. Are coming from Africa. I'm so excited to meet them. It was a long time I didn't see them. Yeah.
Did you sleep last night?
No, I couldn't sleep well since yesterday. I was like stressing somehow.
Ashura's sons were 4 and 6 when she last saw them. They're teenagers now, 14 and 16.
They are too tall. You will see them. They are too tall. I can't imagine just how they grow up faster.
Ashura has a third son, David. Can you tell me, David, about talking to your brothers?
I don't talk to them.
Your mom looks surprised.
He talked to them sometime.
He sits beside her at Pearson doing math games on his mother's cell phone. David's at the top of his grade 2 class. Ashura tells me he takes after her.
Yes, it's what I want. It's what I told him. He need to fight until just he can't allow anyone to pass him. Yeah.
That is you.
Yeah.
Ashura is a survivor in every sense of the word. She was only 6 when her mother, grandmother, and 2 brothers were killed in the Rwandan genocide. In 2015, a violent election year in Burundi, she would lose her boys as well. She and her husband were living in a refugee camp. They had left the boys in the care of a neighbor, hoping they would be safer with her than in the camp. When the camp was attacked, Ashura's husband was killed, and Ashura was on the run again.
I was afraid, of course, anytime me too, they can kill me, because, when there is a war, doesn't choose who. Yeah, it's the time just everyone was running.
Shortly after, her neighbor was also forced to flee. For a time, Ashura stayed in touch, calling her sons on her neighbor's cell. But when the neighbor lost the phone, no one is sure how, Ashura's only connection to her boys was severed.
And then once that person didn't have their phone anymore, it became impossible to reach them.
Andrea Thompson, she helped bring Ashura to Toronto. She's part of a private sponsorship group, former work colleagues, all here at the airport to meet Ashura's sons.
I think I'm the co-chair of the TRIAC sponsorship.
They tried to help in Ashura's search for her boys, but in the end, it was Ashura who found them.
And to think about the ways in which communities take care of each other and neighbors show up for one another. I mean, this woman took Ashura's kids with her to Tanzania to stay with family, on to Rwanda, where sadly she ultimately passed away. And it was at her funeral that somebody sort of said, who do these kids belong to? But unfortunately, because they didn't know where either mom or dad was, they ended up in sort of a makeshift orphanage or children's home. And luckily, enough neighbors heard word of them and realized whose kids they were, that when Ashura came looking for them using Facebook, they were able to connect.
Andrea will never forget that call when Ashura reconnected with her sons.
Wow. It was something really, really special. I got a call early in the morning. I could tell she was really emotional. Rushed there to see how I could help, and it turned out I could help by having a phone that could do international calling because she was able to get a hold of a number and to just hear them, call out for their mom, something that I'll never forget.
Andrea had spent 4 years in Rwanda, part of an international movement to help Rwanda rebuild after the genocide. She spoke a little Kirundi, enough to understand that call.
She started to cry, they started to cry, and I recognized a few words, including, of course, mama. And so
that was 4 years ago. Then came the pandemic, the ban on international travel, and months of bureaucratic delays. Finally, Flight E552 from Ethiopia arrives at Pearson. An official takes Ashura away to sign the papers releasing the boys into her care. Their reunion takes place out of view in an office behind the arrivals gate. Andrea distracts 7-year-old David by calculating his brother's birthdays on her cell phone.
Salim was born in 2008, so how old is he now?
No, I did the wrong math.
Yeah, you got to start with this year, right? So do 2024, take away 2008.
Adds up 116.
Yeah. So Salim's 16, and then what about Akbar? He was born in 2010.
He's 14.
Suddenly, Ashura emerges, followed by her sons, Salim and Akbar. Slim, taller than Ashura. They approach everyone in the sponsorship group, shaking hands politely, trying out a few hesitant words in English.
Yeah, I'm Salim.
How was your flight?
It was good.
What was it like to hug your mother now?
I don't know how I can say.
Feelings too complicated to capture in this new language or to tell a stranger.
Let's get a photo of everybody. Yeah. Put Dave in the middle.
Suddenly the cell phones are out and everyone's taking pictures.
Karibu sana. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Ashura won't have much time to spend with her boys. She's a PSW. She needs every shift she can get to cover the rent. And now the cost of more groceries. A few days later, Ashura tells Andrea her 2 teenagers have eaten more in 2 days than she and Dave had eaten 2 weeks. The kind of shock that awaits the parents of every teenager, but especially a mother who left them behind as children. For CBC, I'm Mary Wiens at Pearson.
Thanks very much to Mary, and certainly to Ashura for letting all of us in on the reunion with her sons at Pearson. Can't imagine what that moment would have been like behind the arrivals gate when she gets to see her sons for the very first time in a very long time.